What's going on, guys? It's Nick here with Finfolk Gaming, and today we're doing the first, hopefully, of many podcasts with a few of my buddies. We got Bertus Maximus and Can't Hang. Bertus Maximus is the one that you can see. Can't Hang, hopefully, we'll be getting a webcam for too long. Right now, I'm going to go with their aliases because I don't know if I should use their real names or not. I don't know if they want me to. But if they tell me I can later on, then I guess we can do that in the future. But for now, we'll just call each other by our first names. That won't be a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Be like Japanese people,
Yeah, awesome. So, this is a test run. This is the first podcast test run. I don't know if I'm going to upload this video or not. But like I said, hopefully it'll be one of many, and we'll have this we'll have this structured better in the future to just talk about game news and anything gaming in general, and just we're all good friends, so just to talk, have a fun conversation, and see where these things go. So yeah, guys, we are recording now, and I guess Justin, you wanted to know about the what was it? The Bethesda buyout, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of new to all this. I see a lot of stuff going on right now. Everybody's posting about the Bethesda, the buyout.
Was Microsoft? Microsoft.
Yeah. I'm just kind of curious what this kind of thing's gonna do for because everybody's acting like it's a big explosion. Just curious about it. I mean, I'm not biased. I like Xbox, PlayStation, PC. I'm all a part of it. There's a whole big war going on right now between all the consoles.
Yeah, it's kind of silly.
I'm curious on because everybody acts like this is like an upper hand for Xbox, and I kind of curious about it.
Dobbs, what do you know a lot about it? Have you looked into it any?
About Microsoft
buying Bethesda? Yeah, what all? I've looked into it pretty extensively. I'm just trying to fill out and see if you've heard anything.
I mean, other than I seen Linus Tech Tips talk about it. Pretty much, they're gonna it's Bethesda, but Microsoft owned. That's all it is. They're still gonna make it for other consoles.
Well.
They're just going to make money off of it, even if you want to play it with PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're still
really.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's still.
Well, I'll tell you what I've from what I looked at, because I did a video on it yesterday. From what I understand is, okay, so Microsoft, and Justin, you ain't heard nothing, so this will be the first time you're hearing it. Microsoft bought Bethesda along with every other company that they owned. So any of the developers they owned, they bought them out too. And they didn't only buy Bethesda; they bought ZeniMax. ZeniMax is the one they're the ones that run ESO Online. So they bought a lot. So let me ask you this, Justin. I don't know if Dobbs, I don't know if you know either, but what do y'all think the price tag was? How much do y'all think? We'll experiment. How much do you think that they paid for Bethesda? Okay, I'll tell you what. Before we guess that, I'll tell you exactly what they got. So when Microsoft bought Bethesda, they got Bethesda, Arcane Studios, ZeniMax, id Software. I think it's Tango GameWorks, and there's two other smaller ones. But the type of games that these between Bethesda and these other guys have put out are games like Dishonored, Wolfenstein, the Elder Scrolls series, Fallout, Doom. The Evil Within, Prey, and then of course Bethesda's also working on the new game Starfield, which is supposed to come out.
I'm gonna say.
So what do you think is the
$5 billion?
How much?
Am I shooting way too high? I don't know. I feel like his is like 2.5.
For all of them, how much do you think that it cost?
I mean, those are some good companies. I mean, there's some good games.
What did you say the first time? Just go with your first guess. What was it?
I said 2.5 billion.
2.5 billion. All right, Dobbs. Do you know what they bought them for, or you want to take a guess?
Yeah, no, I know what they paid for them.
Okay. Well, Justin, they spent $7.5 billion. For context, they spent twice as much money on Bethesda and their parent company, well, not their parent companies, but their other companies under them, than Disney spent on the whole Star Wars series. They spent twice as much money.
Yeah.
Disney spent like $3 billion on Star Wars.
Let's just hope they don't ruin it.
Well, I don't.
They did.
Bethesda was already going in my opinion, Dobbs, and I'm sure you have an opinion on this too, but the past few games that Bethesda's put out, I have not been excited about. They have not went in
what,
a direction that I wanted.
Obviously, Fallout 76 was that a part of them?
Yes, it's garbage.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to say. Look, some people enjoy the game. I didn't like it. I tried to enjoy it because I really wanted to like it, and it was a buggy piece of crap that it was an experiment basically for them.
But you shouldn't have to. When you drop, $60 on a game, it should work for the time.
It looked just like Fallout 4, maybe even worse.
Shouldn't be absolute garbage.
No, it was bad. It was broken. It was basically, it still is broken from what I hear. But anyway, and honestly, the Microsoft buyout may just get them back on track. I'm gonna be hopeful and hope that this buyout gets Bethesda. Like Microsoft is now going to be pushing them like, hey, we got to make games. Hey, you got to make them better.
Bethesda, who was it that owned? Shit. It's not Oddworld. It's the new one. The guys that made New Vegas, pretty much. What was their name? I don't think. Does Bethesda own that company? What was it called? Who made New Vegas? Let's see. Fallout New Vegas.
Oh, that was Obsidian. Yeah. So Microsoft, Obsidian is the same ones that are making that Avowed video that I did a video on Avowed a few days ago. They're the ones that are making Avowed. They also were the ones that made what was it called? The recent sci-fi RPG game.
That's the one I was talking about. Was it open world or?
Yeah. It's as you go to different planets. I can't remember the name of it, but yes, Obsidian made Fallout New Vegas, and the reason and everybody loves Fallout New Vegas. Well, the reason they had a falling out with Bethesda, so they weren't allowed to make any more Fallout games. But now that Bethesda and Obsidian are owned by the same company, potentially they could make another Fallout game. So everybody's been kind of hyped up about that.
So
the potential
brings me to our next content. Like I said in the beginning, I'm non-biased on any console. What does this mean for Xbox? As far as this we're coming to a conclusion for the console wars. Like I said, I don't mind. I'm one that doesn't mind having a PS4, a PS5, Xbox, and a PC. I don't mind. Some people just wish that they would all be on one console. Me, I think there's, it ruins the chance for competition to make better games. But
and
what it means for Xbox.
And there's actually one other thing I wanted to say. What Dobbs was saying. So, as far as exclusives go, there's Deathloop and Tokyo Ghostwire, I believe it's called, that PlayStation has been pushing. The Bethesda studios, it's either Bethesda directly making them or one of their studios are making the games, and that's a PS5 exclusive, and they've been pushing that all year, that marketing. So that will stay PS5 exclusive. So it's kind of funny. Two of the games that Microsoft's gonna be putting out is gonna be PS5 exclusives. It's kind of funny.
I just think it's funny, even though you don't want to use our product. Or you don't want to use our console, but you'll still have to pay for our product. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're still making.
Yeah, exactly. But this is another thing I want to say just real quick, because Dobbs. So the thing about exclusivity in the future. So, like for example, will Fallout be exclusive? Will Elder Scrolls be exclusives? They may or may not be, because the direct quote, I think from it was Phil Spencer or someone up at Xbox, said that certain games that basically they're going to take games at a case-by-case basis. They're not planning on making every single Bethesda game completely exclusive to Xbox from what they're saying, but they're also not saying that some games won't be exclusive. So they haven't really, they're kind of playing it close to the chest of what they're going to do. But yeah, Dobbs, you're right. I did that video I was talking about that I uploaded this morning. It seems like Xbox is playing the game of PlayStation and Xbox are playing two different games. Xbox is playing the game that, listen, we're going to buy up as much real estate as we can, and we don't care if you play on Xbox One X, Xbox Series X, Xbox One S, Xbox Series S. We don't care if you play on PC. We don't care if you play on your phone and use the Xbox Cloud. We just want you playing games that we own. We have a finger in the honey pot. You know what I'm saying? And they probably don't even care if you play them on PlayStation at this point, really and truly. Because if you own, I mean, that's where the real money is with the developers. If you own all that, the only gamble is if you have too many flops. So if you extend yourself financially too far with these developers, and you're losing more money than you're actually making. So say for every 50 games you make, only 2 of those games are real big hits and you make any real money, and then you lose on the other 48. That's a problem. You see what I'm saying? But it's just, it is interesting. It's interesting to see how this is going to play out.
If someone was going to own it, I'd actually rather Microsoft own it than.
I feel like Microsoft is going to let them do what they want to.
Do better. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to let them do their thing.
Instead of like EA, like
John,
yeah.
He's a pro Microsoft guy, by the way. You.
I like Microsoft also.
I mean, we all like Microsoft.
Yeah. A lot of people look. I'm not. I think all of us can say, and for anybody who may be watching this, give me one. I just want to clarify this for anybody who may be watching. So, if anybody's watching this, look, most of us probably started internet, online gaming as far as multiplayer stuff with Xbox, but none of us have any. I'll play on Xbox, PlayStation, PC. It doesn't matter. Justin and Dobbs are both the same way. We don't have really any like super hardcore allegiance to anything. We usually try to go, like if there's games we want on one system, that's usually the one that we're going to play on. Most of the time I own all the systems. All of us do. We usually all have the systems. We're fortunate enough to be able to buy ourselves those things. But so we're not really into like the console wars. Just for clarification on anybody that may be watching, and just give you some context on what we think about all that.
They can't afford Nintendo.
I don't understand why developers want to side with just one side. Like the console war should be killed off already. Like it shouldn't be a thing.
Dobbs, can you talk just a little louder? I can barely hear you, man.
I was saying that it would make more sense for you to sell your game wholesale, like for the whole gaming market, not just for one console. It'd be more beneficiary for you to sell it in a wider, you know what I'm saying, at a wide scale instead of just for one particular console.
I understand.
Yeah.
Makes no sense to just do it.
But like I said, my argument always comes down to, it's hard to explain. I'll skip that. But I do want to ask, as far as the game I was talking about a minute ago, where as in the rights were bought out before, Bethesda was bought out.
Yeah.
What about, the games that we're playing nowadays? They almost seem to come out never finished. So what about the future downloads to fix problems in the games that are on PS5 that now are owned by Microsoft? They'll come out with the game, but I'm just curious. I might not have the answers, but if there's any problems with this release date when it comes out, there's issues, and people always are gonna change stuff, but where will that go from there?
All right, I'm sorry, Justin. Just your screen went off for some reason. I had to completely. I don't know what happened there, but what were you asking me now?
I'm just saying, as far as the game that PS5's coming out with, that was bought out by Bethesda, or not by Bethesda, but by Microsoft. What happens when it releases? As far as updates and stuff like that usually help complete the game. In our generation, you get a game nowadays and it's completely fixed. We're always working on it. Who would be in charge? I mean, I'm guessing Bethesda would.
Yeah, Bethesda still has the same. I think Todd Howard and them are still going to be there. I don't think Microsoft has, as far as I'm aware, liquidated anyone. So they'll still be running their own stuff. Bethesda's still going to be in charge of their games. They'll just now have another Big Daddy to answer to, basically. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? They're not. Are you asking about updates in the sense of who handles that kind of stuff now? It'll still be the studios. The studios or the publisher will still be handling that. Microsoft won't be directly which I don't want to say that because anytime a company buys out another company, they always the company doing the buying always makes some changes.
Right?
Do what?
I mean, they're going to move towards the new company. I mean,
What do you mean the new company?
The new company they're bought out by. I mean, will
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure Microsoft will have some input.
As more or less obligated to fix the problems that are, coming out with this new game on PS5 whenever they're.
Well, I mean, Microsoft is buying Bethesda, but Bethesda is still Bethesda. Does that make sense? Like, there'll be some changes infrastructure-wise or who's in charge-wise, but Bethesda will still handle their own products and stuff. Microsoft just owns them now, basically. It really is up to Microsoft. If Microsoft wants to come in there and be like, okay, everybody, the president of Bethesda, everybody in charge, we're getting rid of all y'all, we're bringing in new people. They can do that. I don't think they're doing that, though. But, yeah, as far as updates for the games and stuff, that's like any kind of game. Whoever makes the game typically, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dobbs, but typically whatever studio makes a game, they normally handle the update kind of stuff. Anything to do with actual game itself.
Right.
Like there's a difference in a studio and a publisher. So the publisher is usually your money backing. Like EA is a publisher. They don't make really games. They make games still, but they mostly publish for other companies. They publish for people like 2K and Madden, FIFA. You know what I'm saying? They're just their publisher. They don't actually design the games.
They license it.
They're the funding behind them, essentially. And now Microsoft's is more funding behind Bethesda.
Expansions and stuff like that, where they're like, is this going to be a free expansion? They'll have say in that. Like, pretty much the cost and stuff, anything like that. I mean, they own the company outright, so they can make the big decisions. But they're pretty much going to let Bethesda. They're just going to run everything by Microsoft before they do anything. That's all it is.
Yep. And I will say this, man, and the reason it's such a big deal that Microsoft bought Bethesda is because, Bethesda's been in my opinion, this is just my opinion, as a gamer, they've been on the decline since Fallout 76 released. But it's still a big deal that they bought them because they're one of the biggest, well-known game developers around. And they're not only they were a game developer, but now they own other game studios. So they were almost they were a publisher also. So they were a developer and a publisher, kind of like EA. But they were still, that's why we haven't seen a lot of games directly from them. Like the last few games that they've, like Doom, they didn't make Doom. That was id Software. Was it id Software that did Doom? Or is it somebody else? I forget who makes Doom.
Yeah, it was id Software.
But it's a big deal because, like, I told you how much they spent, $7.5 billion. It's a big deal because now any of those games that people love, whether you're talking about Fallout, Morrowind, you got to think all the Elder Scrolls stuff, all that, Microsoft technically owns now. Fallout, Microsoft owns. Prey, everybody like that game. Dishonored franchise, all these old franchises they own the rights to now. So, and the thing is, Microsoft didn't just buy Bethesda. I mean, they own Obsidian. They've been buying off developers left and right. I mean, left and right. They've bought up the most real estate. And the thing is, there is no doubt, if you're using your brain and not thinking with your console war brain, that you're a PlayStation guy and you just hate Xbox. Xbox, without a doubt, has the best Game Pass service, period, right now. The PlayStation's not even close.
I agree.
So that's the kind of game that they're playing.
I have PS4, so they do have a lot of content, but they don't update like Xbox does.
No.
I mean, at least once a week they're putting new content on, and it's like a month for PlayStation.
Yeah. No, yes, because PlayStation. Well, the thing is, too, all those games at the Xbox Showcase, every game they showed, including Avowed, Dark Tide, the one that I'm really interested in and been covering, Halo, all those games are available day one on Game Pass. Day one. Which means you don't have to spend, and this is another topic we can talk about, but you don't have to spend essentially $70 for those games. If you have the Game Pass, you just download them and play them. It's like Netflix. It's Netflix for gaming is what it is, basically. You pay us this much a month. We're going to put new games on there for you every month that you can play. And consumer-wise, consumer-friendly, spending less money from a consumer standpoint is the best way to go. So.
Yeah.
And that's another topic I want to talk about. Y'all want to talk about this some more, or I got actually something else we can talk about? It's pretty.
There was, I had something I want to say, but nobody actually has an answer to. So you say all this, and Xbox is growing, Microsoft is growing. It's all.
Yeah, they've grown. The Game Pass subscriptions have gone up by 50% in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
They've doubled in 6 months. They were up to 15 million subscriptions. The subscriptions are what, $10 a piece or $15 a piece. So just do your math there.
I think $15 if you get the
Xbox Live with it.
It's all in one.
So you say $15. You say $15 times 15 million. However much that is, that's how much they make a month just off Game Pass.
Right.
That's a lot of money.
What do you think about this? What do you think? I mean, honestly, in this race, it almost seems like PlayStation is marginally losing. As far as in America,
PlayStation is resting. They are the one thing PlayStation's got going for them is
got something behind the cage.
Well, it's not. They won this last generation. They sold way more consoles. They had better games. They sold more. More people were playing on PlayStation this last generation, but easily. I mean, there's no contest. But I don't know, man. I don't know what Dobbs thinks about it. I don't know if the PlayStation is. It seems to me, I think they're still going to stay focused on great single player games also. But I really think that if Microsoft, if this move, if the choice of buying up more real estate proves to be profitable and more sustainable, PlayStation won't have a choice but to do the same thing, even if they are making great games. Because eventually, you see what I'm saying? It's just the smart business move.
People will buy Xbox just so that they can have the Game Pass and play most of their games they want to have.
And you got to think about it from a casual standpoint too. So if you're a guy that only plays Call of Duty, or a guy that only plays Madden, or a guy that only plays FIFA, that's all you play. You just play an hour or two a night, and that's all you care about. Are you going to go and get a PlayStation that you have to go buy the game, or are you going to go to an Xbox? You just pay a monthly subscription and you can just download it. You see what I'm saying? Consumer friendly wise.
A lot of these games are on PlayStation. A lot of them are on. Don't get me wrong, PlayStation.
Yeah, but they're not. The problem is that the services aren't equal in value.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
PlayStation Now when you have PlayStation.
We got PlayStation Plus too, but it's just not equal to the same value.
You don't have, you don't have all these other subscriptions with, Microsoft really actually locked that down in a while back.
Yeah. Well, and PlayStation hasn't came out and said, okay, so Xbox wants to release brand new games on their Game Pass, then we're going to release God of War 2 on our PlayStation Plus, for free if you have the subscription. They're not doing that.
I get that, but they'd never do it. They'd never do any of that.
Yeah. Right. But that's what I'm saying. That's the difference. That's what Xbox is doing that PlayStation won't do. And the question is, which is the smarter move at the end of the day? And I don't think nobody knows because it hasn't been done before. This is new. This strategy, brand new, never been done except for with movies and TV and stuff. But with gaming, it's new. So I think the PlayStation will wait to see what happens with Xbox. And if Xbox keeps growing and keeps profiting and they realize that it is sustainable, PlayStation won't have a choice. They'll have to do it to compete.
Well, it's kind of like Nintendo. I mean, they have their set stuff. They're always going to be worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
And
I think initially PlayStation is going to sell a lot of consoles because they do have some great game titles that people love: God of War, Last of Us, Spider-Man. The PlayStation just puts out some damn good titles.
You missed one out. Didn't you say something about Last of Us 2?
Well, I didn't personally care for Last, but I'm just saying a lot of people still do love that series. So, I mean, that's when you think of their first party exclusives, they have what really hurt Xbox is this generation. What may hurt them some, or what would have really helped them, is if they could have pushed Halo Infinite out at release. But that's the thing though. I don't think they care, man. I don't think they care if you go out and buy an Xbox One X on day one. I don't think they're playing the we sell more hardware, we make more money game. I think they're playing we own more developers, we make more money game.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I just don't think they're Xbox. Dude, pretty soon, PlayStation's been holding out on crossplay for forever. Pretty soon, they're going to have to go crossplay. That's what Xbox wants. Xbox wants, like, everybody wants crossplay. You know, why should I, if I play on Xbox, why can't I play with my friend that has a PlayStation? We have the technology to do it. Just do it. That's what people want. And that's what Xbox is moving towards, but PlayStation's been kind of hesitant about doing that also. Because if they do that, then what does it matter how much hardware you sell at that point, to an extent? Your exclusives will still get you some, but... And that's another thing I was going to bring up. So, you know that new games on the next-gen consoles, it looks like, pretty sure, all new games, if they're next-gen, are going to be $70, not $60. So there's another thing I think about. So games going up $10, and then Xbox is over here releasing games for free.
It was like $30 to $40.
Yeah.
Man.
Those were the good old days.
Oh, good old days, man.
Yep.
30 to 40. When we hit 50 to 60, we was like,
So,
goodness. And then we saw the controllers going to $60.
mm-hmm. So do y'all think that do you think that $70 for a game is too much?
Do we have a choice?
I'm just saying, like, you know, in your opinion.
Yeah, I do.
Well, if it's 5-star, you know, if it's a real.
My thing is, I think I've already overpaid for half the games I have in my list.
Yeah.
The past 2 years with game developers and how games are coming out,
Mm-hmm.
pay for the full price of a game and only get a third of it.
Yeah, or it's not done. It's not polished.
Pay $70, and on the off chance you're going to give me 100% of the game.
You're just
Yeah,
buying a
no,
license to play it.
I guarantee you the mass quality is not, the improvement won't go up.
I think they should just leave that alone. I don't think they should mess with it.
But that's what's crazy though if you think about it. So if Xbox sticks with this whole, if they stick with the whole, you can just download it day one if you have Game Pass. Is it even going to matter at that point? You see what I'm saying? Because you won't be paying $7 a game. You'll just be downloading it for your monthly subscription fee.
Exactly. I'm fine with that.
Assuming they
There's
stay
not
with
many
it.
games I'm really hyped for, except for like Cyberpunk. That's one of them. Halo, that's fine. I have the monthly subscription. I'm down for that. That's like another year from now.
I'm completely okay with them taking more time on that
So
one.
I guess the question is, would you go through the work to pay for a PlayStation 5 and then pay another $70 for a game? If you would have paid, got an Xbox, you could have just done Game Pass.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
PlayStation is not going to put it on there. I mean,
They may be
it'd be
forced to.
shocking.
They may be forced to at some point though. That's all I'm saying. Now, right now they're not. It doesn't seem like. But I mean, I just don't see the incentive, and I don't know. It's a weird time, man, for
Don't
gaming
get me wrong,
because
I like PlayStation because there's some of those indie developers that are on PlayStation.
well, plus they got like God of War 2, man. I really want to play that game. That game's the first one's phenomenal. They just have some of those titles that are just so great. Nathan Drake's Uncharted, stuff like that, dude. Just such good games that I'd love to play, but it's like,
Well, and if you're a big JRPG fan, like I am, PlayStation's the way to go.
well, Xbox has been getting some more of those too, though. They've been really trying to push for that. I don't know where it's going to go, man. It's interesting to see. It's interesting to see because it just depends, man. Like if this new tactic by Xbox pays off, it'll really change the landscape of games and how we receive them, to be honest with you. I mean, there may come a day where if you want to buy a game, you have to like order it, especially order it to have the box. You know what I'm saying? Like they've already pushed to digital everything. They're pushing so hard on digital. Like most people don't even buy their own games anymore, physical copies. So it's like if I can just pay for a subscription fee, get all the games, then that money-wise for me is the most profitable thing.
Give it 5 years, GameStop will not be around.
No, dude, GameStop's going down hard. They won't last very much longer. But yeah, I feel the same way, dude. I feel like $70. I understand that, prices of stuff goes up because of, economy and whatever else. But I just feel like I feel like 60 was already too much, to be honest with you, compared to what they make. And I feel like 70 is just too much. Because, I mean, like Dobbs was saying, how often do you get a game and you start playing it and there's a day one patch or an update, or there's always some issue with it? Whenever
it's
before the internet,
like
before we had the internet and stuff, when you got a game, when they released it, that was it. They couldn't just fix it. You know what I mean?
It almost seems though like
download anything. You just had to play it. You put it in, and you was good to go.
Yep.
But you see the pattern though. It seems like every year a new console comes out. They're like, well, it's okay to just add another $10 to what the buying cost.
Well, I mean, to be favorable to them, they haven't upgraded the price in a while. The price hasn't went up for a good almost 20 years probably. I mean, you got to remember, Xbox One came out. How much was Xbox 360 games? Weren't they $60?
50.
Were they 50?
I thought they were 50.
Dobbs, do you remember if they were 50 or 60?
What's
I'm
that?
sure they were 50. Then Xbox One went to 60.
Say what you were saying again. I didn't hear.
The Xbox 360 games. Do you remember if they were $50 or $60?
They were 50. They were sick. I believe it was 60.
So
some of them might have been around 50 when they first came out.
Mhm.
But they versatile from.
So you may as well say more than likely from Xbox 360 to now, games have been $60.
So-
That's a good 20 years or more.
Yeah.
So what? Xbox, PlayStation 50 to 60, Nintendo a block of gold.
Yeah, pretty much. You got to give them. You got to give them two gold shillings and a Mario hat for their games.
You don't have enough scarabs.
Not enough scarabs. Yeah, it's pretty interesting, man. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with it and where it goes. That's for sure.
I mean, I like everybody in the franchise, so it is interesting where it's gonna go. I mean, I know everybody wishes everything was on one console, but I still believe in diversity. It makes competition.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I 100% like that. There's more than one. It does. It makes more competition, but I don't see why I can't play crossplay. Like if you want to have your exclusives, that's fine. But if there's a game that's on PlayStation and it's on Xbox, if I want to play crossplay, just let me play crossplay so I can play with my friend that has a PlayStation. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm saying though, it's what if let's put it out here. What if Xbox had it all? What incentive would they have to just make a mind-breaking game when they have no competition? I mean,
you're right.
because you're gonna buy it regardless because it's the only thing that's out there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, no, I mean you got to think about it like this: if there wasn't, if PlayStation didn't do so good this last generation and Xbox didn't drop the ball at the beginning as bad as they did, would we even be getting the Game Pass today that we're getting? You see what I'm saying?
don't get me wrong.
Like if Xbox would have rolled out and done as well as the 360 did, and PlayStation lost, did like the PS3 not near as well, would Xbox have any incentive to do what they're doing now? You see what I'm saying? So everything happens for a reason. Competition is good, but
Look,
I just want to be able to.
All I'm saying is they need to put the Hunt on Game Pass. Put the Hunt on Game Pass.
That's got too high of a. That's a high. What is it? What's the word I'm looking for, Dobbs?
High demand.
High ability
I'm just
ceiling.
saying,
High ceiling
I'll
to
jump
get
on
them.
that. I would
High
jump
ceiling to
train
get
on
that.
that. Whoever gets it, with you. 'Cause I don't want to spend $40 for a game. I'm not sure about, but it looks.
All right, y'all keep on talking. I'll be right back.
Well, Jonathan. Jonathan. We're on a first name basis, right? Could you leave as well? Don't you leave me hanging here. Well, I'm new to all this, so um, been gaming my whole life, but I think Nick should take over.
What is it?
That's my thing.
Do what?
I want you to take over because I don't know if Dobbs just dipped out on me or he's just getting enjoyment out of
Dobbs, you still here?
hanging here.
He may have stepped away for a second.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna ask. I was actually gonna ask him too whenever he got back, but guess we're gonna wait. What have y'all been playing? Do what?
He's there. I could see his stuff lighting up. He's just letting me hanging.
What's up?
Hi, Dobbs. You have to go step away for a minute.
To get something to drink, yeah.
I can barely hear. I don't know what it is with Dobbs. Like sometimes I can hear him fine, and other times it's just super low for some reason.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Blow horn and just scream through my mic. That's all I can do.
There you go.
No one else
Well, what have y'all?
has it.
What if It's probably because I ain't got my headset on, honestly. But what have y'all been playing? Any games y'all been playing?
Well, me and Dobbs actually, this is PC though. We've been playing. We beat the Village. Sorry, Nick. About a week ago.
What is that about? The Village. Give me 1 second.
Not the Village. The Forest. I don't know.
Forest.
That's a PC game. You know, Nick. We was playing that together. I don't know why I said the Village.
Yeah.
And it actually turned out to have some good cinematics. I guess we should get back to the console stuff though. Dobbs, what console games are you playing right now?
Just the same old, I guess. Gears.
I mean, I know we all like to hop on and play a little bit of that Star Wars because they finally fixed it. You know, Battlefront 2, they finally fixed it. It's pretty good. It's enjoyable. Anybody can play it and not completely suck.
I do have one more thing. I do have something I would like to add into things. Thought that today, all days, this morning, well, in Australia, what's crazy is Xbox sold out pre-orders in 14 minutes. From the time they launched at like 6 o'clock this morning.
Oh yeah.
They sold out in 14 minutes.
Yeah, they're apparently
showed up at the GameStop.
Yeah, I haven't looked up much. I know PS5 had their Bumble handling pre-orders, but apparently Xbox is also screw the pooch. So I haven't looked into it much, so I don't know much about it. Like what happened.
It wasn't nothing bad. It's just it just sold out. They sold out pre-orders in 14 minutes.
Yeah, but I've been seeing some videos, like Angry Joe posted a video, like Xbox, messed up, and he did the same thing with PS5. Because, PS5, basically, PS5 was like, yeah, we're going to let you know plenty ahead of time when to pre-order. And, like, the next day, there were certain stores, like Walmart and stuff, were letting people pre-order. So people were, like, pre-ordering before they even announced it, basically. And like I said, I don't know if the same thing happened with Xbox or something different. But I know there's been some angry rant videos going around YouTube and stuff. I just haven't looked into it.
Keep ranting. I'll be back.
My understanding, all it was a lot of people online were making bots to flood the pretty much like Amazon, eBay, just all the retail sites and buy up all the pre-orders, because the pre-orders for 90% of the website was only a $50 down. So you have some people here that's making bots, and it's all sitting here just flooding the fucking.
Yeah, well, they're probably buying them up to scalp people.
That's what it was. That's what 90% of it was about.
And I hope nobody takes any offense to this, but I'm assuming anybody's watching this, assuming that we upload it. But if you are buying scalped Xboxes or PlayStation 5s or whatever, you need to just stop. It's not that serious. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can wait a week or two until more systems come out and just go get some more systems. You don't have to have it day one. If you got that kind of money to throw away, maybe you should be thinking about doing something else with your money. Because some of these scalp systems I've seen online are selling for like double the price. Or they're really selling the pre-orders. They're not even selling the system. Which is basically a system because they're paying for it. But you know what I'm saying. It just blows my mind that anybody would, you know what I mean, Dobbs? Like go out and pay, extra money for a console that's exactly the same as the one that'll be coming again the next following week. It's like you can wait a few days. It's not that serious. It really isn't.
When the Xbox One X came out with the Cyberpunk Edition Xbox, it was like 3 days after I seen it. They had some on Facebook Marketplace, and those guys were trying to sell those consoles for anywhere from $800 to $1,000, $1,000, and I was like, "Are you kidding me, man?"
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Now they didn't have just the pre-order; they had bought it outright. They had paid full price, which was like $499. But nonetheless, they were trying to make a $300 to $500 profit.
Yeah. I just don't understand why anybody would go out and just buy it. You know what I mean? Like just buy that. I don't really get it, but I mean, I'm just gonna wait a week. I'm not spending extra money just because some asshole wanted to buy up extra systems and then scalp people. And if people stopped doing that, people wouldn't try to. These assholes that are buying up these extra systems trying to scalp people, they would stop doing what they're doing because they wouldn't make any money. You know what I'm saying? You would just completely stop all that right there. But the reason what aggravates me is that, and I don't know anybody personally that's bought a system that was like that they overpaid for because of scalpers. But the fact that scalpers are doing it and I'm seeing it, it means that it works. Like people will pay more money just to have the system on day one because some jackass went out and bought 10 systems and now they're overcharging for the systems. It's like just wait a week, wait 2 weeks, and then get you a new system for the right price. It's silly. It's crazy to me that people actually do that.
Anyway, we've all been online here for a minute. Nick, you kind of want to explain the whole point in all this, that we want to try to open the podcast for your viewers on Southern Fried?
I mean, eventually, maybe we're going to implement some stuff where we can get, whenever we start, if let me rephrase this. If we start live streaming these and people start actually watching, then we'll look into that kind of stuff where we can get, people start interacting with us and stuff like that. We can, if somebody has like a webcam or they want to jump into the party and talk, we can have like certain podcast days where we let somebody come in and talk or whatever game with us, assuming anyone even wants to do that, But yeah, we can do something, but that'll be later on once we actually get it going and are actually streaming live, assuming we go that route.
Well, there you go, folks. Do y'all have any more subjects y'all want to cover?
I don't know. Y'all got anything y'all want to talk about? I think we went over what happened with Bethesda, went over the bump in the game prices. Oh, I was asking Dobbs. I know y'all both said y'all played The Forest. Is there anything else y'all been playing besides The Forest? I know Dobbs. I've seen you on PUBG.
Green Hell.
Oh yeah, that's
Dobbs,
right.
You can go ahead and count me out of that game. That game is. I spent a lot of time playing on a single player, and it is just difficult as hell. It's ridiculous. I can't even get past the first part. I'm just trying to keep my guy alive.
Oh, I know.
No.
I played about 7 hours of it.
Yeah, same here, and it's freaking brutal.
Which I didn't understand because it got such a high rating.
Yeah, I don't know how you get past the first part, unless like if we get past the first part and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, there's a fucking refrigerator over here that has food or something. I don't know, because Everything you give your guy barely. If you get something good, you cook something good for your character, it barely helps your character, but everything else just diminishes your health bar and your stamina, and it's nearly impossible. Um, it's it's not for the faint of heart. I mean, and I love survival games. This one, it's difficult.
Yeah, see, I'm not. This is my problem with, and the forest was kind of cool whenever we first started it. But my problem with survival games is they always get and they're kind of designed that way. But to me, they get kind of repetitive after a while. Like it's cool at first, like whenever you're building buildings and stuff like that, it's neat. But then after a while, it's like it's just the same. Because a lot of these games, they don't have a whole. They're not like super big funded, I'm sure. So they're kind of limited on what the scope that the game can go in. But everyone I've ever tried, man, the forest, and like I said, at first it's pretty. We helped, dude. We spent some. We probably spent over 10 hours.
Like we finally started doing the objectives.
I know, but even y'all said it didn't take y'all long.
It didn't, but it was.
That's what I'm saying. Those games are designed
way better than Green Hell. I mean, it's actually realistic as far as realistic as far as survival goes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what they're designed around.
Green Hell is a little bit more realistic, but I mean,
my issue is those games are designed to. The gameplay is the survival part. So just like for prime example, you said that you and Dobbs went. How many hours did it take y'all to beat it? From like once you actually sat down and were like, you know what, we're going to finish this little story. Like we're going to finish the main campaign, main story.
3 or 4 nights.
How many hours do you think, Dobbs?
As far as from when we started.
No, I'm talking about like from the actual story time. I'm not talking about Well, I guess
story time, and you found all the toys and everything.
Yeah, like if you were doing the bare minimum to survive and just get the story completed, how long do you think it would take?
5 to 6 hours.
See, that's only 6 hours. You see what I'm saying? So 6 hours for the story. And that's fine for a survival game because survival games aren't about the story. Survival games are designed so you can build stuff.
That whole part in it.
What?
Yeah,
you can complete the whole game without any.
Like as long as if you steadily just keep picking stuff up, eating, you don't even have to sleep. You can run the game and beat it in about an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah, and
as long as you don't stop, don't build anything, like don't hack down trees, don't do any of that. Just from start to go. Like if you research where you're supposed to go, you can do the whole thing in about an hour and a half.
Yeah,
that's the thing about.
But that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm saying. That's why. That's the thing, and that's fine because survival games are really and truly survival games are about playing with other people, collecting stuff, building structures, surviving the nights together, that kind of thing. Like that's the experience that they're supposed to be.
Because you want to do it. Well, you're like, well, we can just speed run this, but then you get sidetracked. Like, I can build something. And it's so hard not to.
Well, because that's what the game is, really. The game really isn't so much the story. The game is, like, that part that you're talking about. The part of the sidetrack, building stuff. Like, that's really the core gameplay, is building things. And making new weapons and just building up to that. Building your character or whatever up to that point. But, see, for me, I don't hate it. But it's like, I just get... After a couple of nights, it's hard for me to stay engaged with it, if that makes sense. Like I get, because it's the same. I just wish they had more of a reason. Like for example, I wish it would have actually gotten harder. I feel like that game never really got harder. Not really, man. Not with the three of us. If we were building stuff and we had, food and stuff, I mean, we could hold out really against anything.
No, you didn't play me and Dobbs. It gets harder. The longer you get in the game, the more days you spend, it gets harder.
Dude, I played for like... How many hours did I play with y'all, Dobbs? 10 hours, probably? Maybe more? I played with y'all 2 nights on Saturdays, 2 weekends in a row for at least 4 hours.
Yeah, well, you didn't run the dungeons with us.
Yeah, I ran one cave with y'all.
Yeah, but we had to run a lot more caves.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, I'll put this about their game. Does it have a whole lot of cinematics? But I will say this: the final boss. Kudos to that. That was actually very fun playing the final boss with Dobbs. At least shot the crap out of that guy or kid. Yeah. But it was fun. It was, for a game that had no cinematics, and
Yeah.
everything was about a building. The final boss
Yeah.
was surprisingly a very good ending, a very fun last boss. And most of them aren't, but it
Well,
gave me a whole lot of success then.
Well, let me ask you this: what would y'all give if you were to rate the forest? Since y'all did technically complete it, what would you give it as a rating from a survival, just from a video game standpoint? Like, if you were trying to
Honestly,
rate it for anybody looking to buy a new game, like, what would you say it would be?
Dobbs can go first.
1 to 10. What do you think, Dobbs?
What are you asking?
Like, if you were to give it a rating, 1 to 10.
As far as someone that wants to play like a Minecraft survival game, what would you rate it?
You talking about the forest?
Yeah.
What would I give it in a rating?
If you're just gonna throw a number on it.
5.
5.
Play that kind of game.
Okay, on my scale, 5 is average, 10 is as good as it gets.
Yeah, I'd give it like a 7.8.
So 8. We're just gonna do just basic regular numbers.
Yeah, we'll do an 8.
Really?
Yeah, I liked it. If you go into it, if you actually go into it, there's more lore than what you think actually in this game. They got the second game. If you want to look it up, type it up real quick. Take a look at that. The second one is the other one. That game actually has a big cult following.
Yeah. Oh no, I know it's
called The Sons of the Forest.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the preview for it. It's actually pretty cool.
No, see, that's the thing, man. I don't keep up with a lot of the survival stuff, and that, man, it's some people just survival's just not. I can play them, and it's fun to play with like y'all, and just if I'm in the mood it's a really fun game for me to play. Those kind of games are really fun when I don't know what I want to play. Does that make sense? Like when I don't, if I'm like I don't want to play Battlefront, I don't want to play an RPG. I just want to sit down and play something. Like that's when it's fun for me.
Horror player. I like to play a horror style kind of game.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the same way.
Was more of a horror based
Survival.
Not much as like survival. I mean, it was a survival. I'm not that big into survival, but I'm more into a horror.
The setting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I played it for. And that's the whole reason I got it.
Yeah.
Because of the fact of that. And but yeah, I liked it a lot. There's a lot more to it. It goes into tell about. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but there's a lot more to the game than what.
Yeah. I agree.
Well, what would you give it, Justin?
Honestly, I'm big into survival games. Y'all all know that. I'm gonna give it a high rating. Honestly, I'm giving it a 9. And you might say, graphics, everything like that. The reason I give it a 9 is just because of the playability. You can hop in, play with your friends. You don't have to all be in the same campaign to start out at the same points. I enjoyed it a lot. It's if you like Minecraft and you want something a little more horror filled and more realistic, it's fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, there were some glitches in the game make you want to freak out, but as far as the only reason I give it a 9 is just because as far as what's on the market today to play, it's one of the best. Everything else that's out right now is still in early phase beta, to play. There's a lot of good looking games out there that's kind of like this, but they're not finished. They're not finished titles like this is. It has a full story. There's a lot of lore behind it. If you want to dive in depth to it, there's a lot to do. I enjoyed it. And as far as this game, this is one of my first big PC games playing.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it a lot. I doubt I play it again, but if you wanted to, I would hop in and play it. It's as far as playability, it's very good, honestly, and that's what counts when it comes to games like that.
Well, yeah, that's with any game. That's why everybody's always going to have different opinions on stuff because there's certain things. Everyone likes different things. Like I said, didn't hate the game. I didn't dislike it. It was for me. It was one of those games that I wanted to play when I didn't feel like playing anything else. Something I could just sit down, play with friends, and just run around and do stuff. You know what I mean? Just to have something to do.
Again.
Like I'm not going to sit there and play that game by myself.
Made it worth it. The final boss, the final chapters made it worth the while because you uncovered everything. And it was fun. I really enjoyed that. As far as the game that had no cinematics, it was quite enjoyable because final boss comes out and you really had to put some effort, and you might not can beat the final boss if you don't have all the right stuff.
Okay. I got some kind of breaking news here. So this was announced 4 hours ago. All Bethesda games, including Starfield, which is Bethesda's going to be their newest title, will be on Xbox Game Pass. Day one.
That is big news.
Say that again.
All Bethesda games, including Starfield, will be on Xbox Game Pass.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, they're doing something that hasn't been done. And like I said, I don't know if it's going to work or not. But I mean, I'm no genius, but I imagine that Microsoft has some pretty smart people working for them. And if they've done the numbers and they think it'll work, it'll probably work. And if it does work, then Sony's going to have to follow suit.
Logic, man. The first time's always free. Once you get everybody hooked, then that's when you
start changing things.
Reach into that pocket.
Yeah.
Hey man,
I don't know though, man. Like if you think about it,
fix, man.
if you like, let's look at it like this. Like I was saying earlier, so Xbox Game Pass is up to 15 million subscribers. So you say 15 million times $15. Whatever that number is, that's how much money they're making a month just off subscriptions. That's not off hardware. That's not off other games that are being bought here and there. That's not off nothing else. That's just subscriptions.
That's $45 million
a month. How much is that a year, Dobbs?
Can y'all pull
12
this
months.
Up, can you pull up on your computer the subscriptions for Game Pass compared to PlayStation Now?
That's $540 million a year just on the Game Pass.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Assuming those numbers stay there, and honestly, they're probably going to grow. That's $500 million a year. Just in Game Pass.
Who doesn't have Game Pass that has an Xbox?
Probably nobody. Well, you can't. I think they bundled it. I don't even think you can have Xbox Live unless you have Game Pass. So that was smart on their part too.
Separately now, you can have it.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Well, it'd be smart on their part if they just made you have
The
it.
only way you could do it, you can't buy 3 months now. You can't buy a year. You can only buy monthly. And monthly, it's $9.99. So it's like
Pay the extra $5.
Extra $5.
Yeah.
And bundle the whole thing.
That's smart from a business standpoint.
It's like, yeah, you can just pay for Xbox.
So basically, they'll have it for the most part. Every Xbox owner will have, if you're playing online or using that console, you will have Game Pass. More than 98% chance you have Game Pass.
Right.
Yeah, that's a big deal. And the thing is, it's not just on Xbox; it's on PC. So PC owners that are wanting some free shit, guess what they're gonna do?
For like $600-700.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that these subscriptions kind of equaled out what they were spending on the consoles.
That's crazy, man. So all the Bethesda games, including Starfield, which is going to be their newest RPG, is going to be Game Pass day one. That is official. That is on GameSpot. GameSpot's website. Damn, I would have covered that in my news thing for tomorrow if I'd have done that today.
Kind of like you wonder, what is
starting day of the new Xbox Series X, it will have what already is on Game Pass, Bethesda's game, and from my understanding, EA Access is going to be there.
Well, yes, EA Access will be there in a version of EA Access. So
I know it's a version of EA Access,
Yeah.
but nonetheless, from my understanding, they were supposed
you'll
to
still get a
have,
few
like,
games.
You're going to get like 20 to 30 games from.
So what's in PlayStation's court? Is what my curiosity is. What do they have caged that they don't want to show us that they're gonna wait till, opening day? I mean, because they gotta have something, right?
The
they haven't
game-
returned
well,
fire at all, or not
they-
much. But they got some exclusives, but they gotta have something to combat this with.
They have their gameplay. This PlayStation Now is what it's called. So they have.
Now, and they have their fans.
They have.
Wrong. I like PlayStation also. I can't say I got a PlayStation.
They say.
I bet. Hey! Can't forget the PlayStation 2 days. Don't you forget. Never forget.
I'm trying to find a list of what's on PS Now. It doesn't really tell me, but I don't know exactly what games. They have some games on there, but it's not.
They're good about their indie stuff.
It's well known that the price is not equivalent. It's not.
What pissed me off.
And they're not the big thing.
PlayStation
My bad, Dobbs.
is
Go ahead.
the day they showed all those games that was exclusives. Only like 2 games on that whole show off was exclusive.
Yeah.
That was Spider-Man and I can't even remember what the other game
Final
was.
Fantasy, God of War, but it's not launch.
Fantasy's not.
Yeah.
That Final Fantasy is actually it's going to be for Xbox.
Yeah. I don't know how many actual launch titles they even had. I felt like the PlayStation Showcase and the Xbox Showcase was weak. Both of them were. I felt like, but weak in the sense, there's some cool games coming out, but weak in the sense that I have no idea. None of them are going to be on release. I don't know why I would go buy a new console. Other than getting the updated graphics for games that I already own, I don't know why I would go buy a new console right now. There's no reason.
Look,
There's
I'll
no.
face it. Let's just face it. Let's just face it, guys. PC Master Race.
I don't know what that is.
PC Master Race.
He's all about a PC Master Race. He built his first PC just this year, and now he's all of a sudden PC Master Race. He was the Nintendo guy forever.
I played a PlayStation because I played a PC game
Yeah,
with him.
I was Nintendo, and now I'm computer.
After I played that PC game with him, he's all about, you know what? I'm going to sell my Xbox, sell my PlayStation. I don't even give a shit about them anymore. I could do everything with my mouse and my handy dandy keyboard. It's like, why? Why
And
would
it's
you
like-
get rid of everything? Don't do that.
Why not?
See? Why would you
I would-
Can you give me a good reason why not?
On the Xbox side of things, I can't give you one because assuming. Okay, hang on. Let's take this back for just a second.
At least not yet.
I don't know if there's any 100% confirmation that every single Xbox game that is going to be co-op, multiplayer, any kind of thing to do with another person is 100% every game going to be crossplay. I'm not sure about that. That's the only thing. I feel like it is. I feel like this was Xbox is trying to push, but I haven't looked into it. Now, that being said, all the ones they have done, it's been crossplay for the most part. But there are some games on there that are not crossplay. So the only thing I would say is that if you can make sure that before you buy the new console, if you can make sure that, okay, every game from here on out, if I want to play with my friends, I can play with them off my PC, even if they have an Xbox, then I would say I don't have a reason for you to get an Xbox, to be honest with you. The only reason I could think is if there's some games are not, like Halo. Like if you wanted to play Halo with everybody and everybody had their own system, but you couldn't cross-play over PC, that may be a factor in deciding whether you need a console or not. But you could just keep the console you have. I don't think it'll matter if you're playing from Series X to Xbox One. I don't think that'll matter at all, as far as who you play with. Which I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that too, honestly.
Who are you talking to?
Did y'all say something? Sound like y'all was talking about something.
What?
What?
I,
don't-
I was talking about your.
said something.
I was talking about your
Oh,
Xbox.
okay.
conundrum?
About how PC Master Race.
Oh my god.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You're not even... You've owned a PC for not even a year, man.
Oh, it's been a year.
It hasn't been a year.
Uh,
No, it hasn't. You built that thing this, what, March, July?
what would you rather have? If you had to have one console or a PC?
I would rather have a PC because I do so much more other than just gaming. If I just gamed,
Right.
if I was...
You could only have PlayStation 4, Xbox, or PC. You only have one.
It depends on the context. It depends on... For me personally, right now, where I'm at in life or whatever, however you want to put it, I would go with PC because I use my PC for so much more. If I was just somebody who got off work and I literally only use that console to watch movies and just play games, and I had a laptop, I didn't care about having a desktop and video editing and what I do, I would just own a console because it's cheaper. At the end of the day, it's cheaper. It costs more money to build a PC of equivalent. It's going to cost more money to build that PC of equivalent power than that Xbox One X is going to, or Xbox Series X is going to cost you. It's very consumer friendly.
Let's put this out there. Okay, so from all three of us, besides PC, put PC aside, what console do you favor most?
Xbox.
I would have to say, are we talking about right now? Like
I mean,
the
just over the years, in general.
Oh,
over the
Xbox.
years,
Over the
not
years,
now.
Xbox.
I mean, yes, now, but what content over all the consoles do you like the most?
I'm going to say Xbox because Halo was the first game that I played that I was really like, okay, this is something special. Gaming is going to go somewhere. This isn't just a fad. This isn't just going to go away. Gaming is going to be a new medium. Gaming is going to be very relevant in everyone's lives in the future because just something about that game, whenever I played it, I just couldn't believe what I was seeing at the time. So, and that was the Xbox. And then from there, I went to Xbox 360. So for 2 straight generations, that's all I played was Xbox and Xbox 360. So I would say overall, Xbox would be my choice.
You know, I'll put this out there.
But I'll say the PS4 kicked Xbox One's ass at the beginning of the new gens, for sure.
Yeah.
Beat the shit out of it.
I'll say over the years, I was not an Xbox person. I do believe now in this generation.
You had Dreamcast. No, you had a GameCube.
Oh yeah, no, I was Nintendo. I was PlayStation. I will say in this generation that Xbox is winning everybody's favorite award because why not have a console that gives you everything?
Mm-hmm.
I'll be right back.
All right, well, I was Nintendo and I was PlayStation. I mean, you can't. I mean, beginning of the console wars, Nintendo and PlayStation were pretty much at the top. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you and me were both there together whenever Xbox came out with their console and Halo.
I'm listening.
It was that moment. But still like Nintendo. Everybody's gonna like Nintendo no matter what you do. They're gonna be there. They're gonna license that stuff. They're gonna put it on there. It's always gonna be worth something. You could probably sell your freaking N64 Super Smash Brothers for $40 right now.
Yeah.
Or probably more.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I got no problem with Nintendo. Like, I liked Smash and the Zelda game looked good, and but I haven't bought a Nintendo since 64. I got no reason.
You never played Wind Waker?
I watched you play it.
Or did you play? As far as the Switch, did you get to play the new Zelda game?
No, I watched gameplay and watched people play it. It looks good. I'm not saying it don't, but I'm not gonna buy a console anymore based off one game or 2 games. I don't know. Nintendo's just ever since Xbox, it's either been Xbox or PlayStation for me personally. If I'm gonna spend my money, I wouldn't mind having one. I mean, it's a cool console. If I had like the extra money just to, throw away, I would get one.
So it seems like basically Xbox is just gonna, like you said, buying up all the lots.
Yeah, they're buying up all the real estate as far as developers and publishers are concerned.
What do you think will happen if Xbox takes over? I mean, like, eventually, do you think that PlayStation will eventually stop selling their consoles and their content?
No, because I think Sony's not going to allow that to happen. There's plenty of other companies that can be bought out there. There's no way that Xbox is going to be able to buy all of them. You can't have a monopoly. But that's like, even though Xbox is buying Bethesda and all that.
Why not?
Well, hold on. It's too much money. Like, it's one thing to buy Bethesda. Like, if Xbox went in there and tried to buy, like, Rockstar or somebody like that, you're talking about probably twice that amount of money. I mean, it's just a big, big investment when you don't necessarily have to do it. But my point is that I don't think...
That's why I get so excited.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that if Sony is going to... If this pans out for Xbox, and this is a big win for them, this ends up, and Sony can look across the table and say, okay, this made them a lot of money. And they're still doing it. There is no choice on Sony's side but to follow suit. They have to. They won't have a choice. It won't be a question of whether they want to or whatever. They'll either follow suit or they're going to suffer, sales because of it. Because Xbox, or not Xbox, Microsoft and Xbox, whatever, however you want to put it, will be making more money. And one thing about capitalism and business is if somebody's making more money than you want to learn how they're making that money and do the same thing they're doing so you can make more money. That's how competition and all that works.
Honestly,
or they'll come up with a new innovative idea. Maybe that something's better. Maybe. I don't know.
What makes me excited is because I think that they'll be like, I think they're still going to fight a good fight.
Well, there's still a lot of developers out there that aren't on too.
More good exclusives that are just groundbreaking. I mean, you already have Nintendo coming out with the Zelda made the Switch. And of course, they come out with the second game, and everybody's like, well, hell yeah, I'm going to get I'm still stay with it. I'm going to play it. And like PlayStation, you're like, what exclusives are they going to come out with that are just going to be groundbreaking to say that I've got to get that console just for that game? That's what gets me excited. It's just like, they're going to stay in this fight just because they're going to come out with something that's, I mean, they've got to. I mean, they haven't announced it yet. I mean, they've had announced a few games, but
yeah, I think they're waiting.
Stuff out there.
I'm sure they have plans or whatever, but
they got their cards folded. They're waiting.
Yeah, no, they're waiting to see what's going to happen, and I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll buy Konami. Maybe they'll buy. I mean, there's a lot of developer. I mean, you got to remember, Bethesda's just one. They're just one small part of a very large party. You know what I mean?
Nobody wants Bandai.
But I don't think that there's any way that Microsoft or even Sony will ever fully own every developer and every publisher. There's just too many of them. I think Microsoft's thinking we need to buy some key players. We need to buy a key player. We need to get people that are going to make good. That can help us make good games and to help us get our reputation back up for being one of the. I saw a article today. Our title of the article was Microsoft wants to make be a focal point again of RPGs. Because Xbox used to be related to, before they got away from, before the Xbox One, the 360 had great RPGs, man. They were all about quality games. And that, to me, it seems like Phil Spencer, the guy that runs Xbox now, that's what he's trying to accomplish. He wants good quality games that people want to play because he understands probably gamers, and he understands that if you make good games, if you produce good games, if you make good multiplayer games, people will play on your platform and people will pay the money to play. But you got to make good games. You can't keep putting shit out. You can't have these crazy, silly ideas that they've had in the past.
Anyway, how long does this session last?
We've been on for an hour and 15 minutes now.
About to say a good about an hour.
Well, y'all want to end off with anything?
Yeah, I guess we can go ahead and end it. Is there anything else, y'all? Dobbs, you want to talk about anything, or Justin?
Oh, there's plenty out there, but
Yeah, I'm just saying something quick on your mind. I know y'all been playing The Forest, so there ain't nothing else that y'all been playing recently.
Don't play Green Hell.
Yeah, I got that. What about you, Dobbs? I saw you still playing. How's PUBG treating you, man?
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off asking that question.
Be honest with you, they since that last update, since they brought the team deathmatch in, where you can just steadily respawn in, it's not too bad. They brought the zombie mode in. They brought
Oh, they put it. The zombie mode is on console.
yeah, you can hop on and play it right now.
We should try that.
Conquest is on there. That's actually pretty fun. Other than that, I mean, that game doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's more one of them. It's like I can't believe I'm still playing it.
I don't know why y'all play it either.
3 years.
I'll play the zombie mode. I'm totally down. Anyway, I'm gonna hop off. Y'all have fun. Y'all keep going.
No, I'm about to get off too. Are you ready to get off, Dobbs?
Oh yeah. I'm actually another game I'm pretty psyched on. So one thing what I was gonna say is pretty much all the games that's being showcased right now has changed their drop date pretty much from this year to 2021.
Yeah. Well, and the pandemic's got everything messed up right now too. I mean, you know.
That Star Wars TIE Fighter actually looked pretty sweet.
Yeah, man, Star Wars Squadron. I'm kind of interested in that. I'm curious to see how it's gonna what it looks like.
It looks pretty good. What now?
I want to play that. Is it getting moved back?
Star Wars Squadron. Yeah, it's a Star Wars. It's just dogfights.
I know, but I was actually waiting for that to come out.
No, it's not out yet. No, it hasn't been released. I think it's releasing.
I know what I'm saying they didn't move it back any, is what I'm saying.
No, not that I'm aware of. Do you know when it's coming out, Dobbs?
It just said
November
summer of 2021.
Is it summer?
Jeez. Oh yeah.
I thought it was this November.
Way back.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I don't know then.
Hang on.
I could be wrong here.
I thought it was been coming out in a few months.
Okay, initial release date is October the 2nd, 2020. Wow, that's the day after my birthday. Look at that. So yeah, that's what it is as of right now. So yeah, that's not far away.
I will do that.
Yeah, it looks interesting. I mean, it looks. I think it's only gonna be like $30 or $40 too, because I think it's gonna have like a real kind of a short campaign and just mainly be multiplayer. So I think EA is kind of advertising it as like a $30 game, $40 game, which is fine with me. I mean, assuming the value, as long as the value's there, I'm always okay with whatever.
Right.
So I guess it's gonna be it for us guys. Can't Hang, Burtis Maximus, also known as Dobbs and Justin, they got to go. I got to go too. Hopefully we can do this again soon. We're going to try to do this, maybe once, twice a week, something like that. Talk about game news with you guys. Talk about video games. Talk about stuff we love to do. We have a lot of fun doing it. And, yeah, just going to share it with y'all. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you enjoyed watching and you're on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more content. And, yeah, guys, we'll see y'all next time. Everybody have a good night, good evening, good morning, wherever you're at. Hope it's a good one. Peace, guys.